On this week's episode, I'm joined by Micaela Fonseca. Micaela has done and is doing many things, including architecture, interior design, wine production, and Micaela is the founder of Women in Wine Portugal. We discuss, amongst other things, the exciting work that Micaela is doing with Women in Wine Portugal, what Micaela loves about her city, the things she appreciates about Portugal, having traveled and lived abroad, and why and how wine is such an integral part of Portuguese culture. Wine is not just something that we drink, it's something that we eat. For those of you listening, head over to our YouTube channel to watch this episode. And for those of you watching, click down below and subscribe. And for the full podcast episode, go over to Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now over to my conversation with Micaela. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. And I'm really happy to be joined here by Micaela Fonseca. Micaela, hello, bon dia. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Hi, hello, bon dia. Thank you for inviting me.
Micaela, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about you?
Well, my name is Micaela Fonseca. I'm a Portuguese girl, Portuguese woman. I'm from the north of Portugal, Porto City. I'm an architect, but meanwhile, I was challenged to take over a family business in the wine industry. So during a little bit more than 10 years, I was wine producer at Quinta do Ferro, a family business in the north of Portugal, in Baião, specialized in sparkling wine, so traditional method sparkling wine.
What do you appreciate about the architecture in your city?
Architecture actually is everything for everybody, right? It's the nest, is the way that you live, is your identity. It's so many things. So Porto can offer you many ways to see architecture: the old architecture, the heritage architecture, the modern one.
Just explain and shed some light on this for people listening about what makes wine such a rooted part of our culture. It's not just about a pretty label and the latest Douro table wine or the sparkling wine. It's so deep within our DNA and so much part of our daily life. Tell us about.
Yeah, well, if you think like this, Portugal is a small rectangle, right, with the islands, and it is a small piece of land in reality. But in this small piece of land, we have, I think, if I'm not wrong, 14 different wine regions. This is like, wow. That is the amazing thing. Is Portugal is so rich, is really incredible to see how much variety you can have, and it's so different, so unique, so exquisite.
You mentioned something earlier on. I want you just to kind of speak a little bit more about this, Micaela, which was you said wine is something that we eat.
Yeah.
And not just something we drink. Just explain that.
Yeah, well, in my way of seeing things, you know, I realize I during the years I realized that I have a passion for human being behavior, and I love people, and wine is a relationship industry business is for me. Well, I'm telling about my I'm giving you my opinion.
Your opinion,
okay?
Yeah, that's good.
And for me, wine is not just selling the liquid. It's selling a person. It's about people. It's about connecting. It's about chemistry between people. So I think I can say that I have a beautiful friendship relation with almost everybody that I work with in the wine industry. With clients in particular. And in Portugal, we have a culture to be at the table. We love to be at the table. So we are having lunch, And during lunch, we are already are talking about what are we going to do for dinner and what are we going to eat at dinner. So we do live, and families, friends, family are always at the table. Wine is in the table that you make the best deals, the best business is during lunch or dinner, whatever. And for traditional, I remember, for example, my grandfather, my grandparents from my mother's side, they used to work in the field, so they are from agriculture. I knew them in that reality since ever, and for them at lunch hour, for example, they just needed a bowl of soup, a piece of bread, and a glass of wine, and all the three things were the lunch, were the food. So that's why I say, for me, when I'm with in a wine tasting, where I'm not drinking or only drinking the wine, I'm eating the wine because it's the culture, because it's like we are at the table. Even if I'm standing up talking with people during the wine tasting, it's like I transport myself to a table, to family, to friends. We sit down, we are just appreciating the food that the wine can be.
What's pleasurable for you about making wine and seeing the experience that people have when they drink it? What do you enjoy about that?
Well, first of all, I don't make wine because I'm not a winemaker, and I don't want to be a winemaker. I think there are people that are so good at it. They are. So I was a producer. I am a producer because I still have something in starting my own brand. But I am a producer. As a person, I have my personal taste, and I only can present something or sell something if I enjoy it, if I like it. So every time that I was in the wine industry, I made wine. Not I asked to make wine for in the winemakers for my personal taste, because like I said before, I'm I like to be real, to be truthful. So for me to be able to present the wine, I needed to be my wine. One of the best ways to explain that, for example, people ask me a lot, which one you prefer, and I said it depends. If I'm having lunch with this or that one, I will prefer this probably. If I'm sitting down dinner with some greasy food, I will prefer this. If I'm more in the mood or less in the mood, whatever. So
Eating
that is,
wine, eating
yeah,
wine.
eating wine. So
Yeah.
that's the way I'm trying always to present the wines and
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Very interesting. Staying on the subject of wine, tell us a little bit about the work you're doing with women in wine.
well, yes, this is my old new project. So let me explain a bit how did I started the Women in Wine Portugal. So in 2014, I was invited for a group of women in Poland. I had a client in Poland, and they knew that I was a woman producer, so they invited me to an event they organized in Poland. And I went, and when I get there and during all the event, I was like, oh, this is fascinating. This is really important. This is a very good thing. I would love to do a thing like this in Portugal. And in the beginning of 2020, right in the beginning, before all the the pandemic thing, I present the project to Católica Lisbon, the business Católica business school in Lisbon, one of the best
Mm-hmm.
business school in the world. So in this Women in Wine project, I felt since the beginning that I wanted to have a very important part of the project with knowledge and information. So your superpower is the knowledge and information. This is the start of things for me. If you have the information and the knowledge, you can make your decisions, you can go. And I thought, okay, I will present this to Católica. I present the project, and they say from the beginning, yes, we are with you. And that only there start to, okay, this is for real, because before I was like, maybe people will think that I'm crazy. But when a school like this said to me, yeah, we are on it with you, makes things real, and the responsibility grows.
Besides wine, food, and architecture, so those things, because we've spoken about those things now enough, what makes you proud of your country? What makes you proud of Portugal?
Everything, even with the flaws, with all the flaws. I think I'm very passionate about my country. Like I said in the first beginning, as I was able to travel around the world, I realized that having a Portuguese passport was a blessing, and that means something. Like I said to you, everywhere I go in the world, when I say I'm Portuguese, nobody is afraid of me. Nobody, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to be Portuguese. So everything, I like everything, even the things that I don't like.
Micaela, a question that we ask all of our guests. Portugal, the simple life. Why?
Oh, you can eat wine. So
Eat wine.
Nothing simply more simple than that. You are in the country where you can eat wine.
Yes. So if people are not confused by that last statement and only listening now, you need to go back. You need to go back into the episode to listen why we talk about eating wine. It's a concept.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Micaela, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I've loved this conversation.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I hope I can see you soon and we can meet.
Thank you, Micaela.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to let you call it.
Okay, that's a wrap.
So thank you once again to our guest, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.